Hey YouTube and fellow members of the DDR, this is Mr. Fishy here, bringing you another deck tech video. So far all the deck tech videos we've had are Magic the Gathering Commander decks. As you may know, the Deakin deck Regiment plays Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, Vanguard and Pokemon. So I'm going to do a few videos. I'm going to do a deck tech video for the Vanguard deck that I run, the Yu-Gi-Oh deck and the Pokemon deck, just so we got a bit of variety in our deck techs. So, the first one up is going to be my Vanguard deck, which is a Pale Moon, Sword Magician Sarah build. Let's focus the camera here. Okay, so Sword Magician Sarah's ability is, when you drive check a grade 3 Pale Moon, or is it just drive grade 3? Yeah, when you drive check a grade 3 Pale Moon, you get to get one of your grade 3 Pale Moon rear guards, put it into your soul, and pull a grade 3 Pale Moon out of your soul. And that can be the same Pale Moon that you sent into your soul. Also, when she's boosted by her Pale Moon, she gets plus 3,000 attack until the end of the battle. Okay, so here's the deck. Starting Vanguard is Lark Pigeon, because when you've got an empty hand, you can guard with him out of the soul. It's pretty cool. Now, trigger lineup. Okay, we're on 4 heal, obviously. We run 3 critical triggers, and we have 1 Dynamite Juggler and 2 Poison Juggler. The reason for this is, the reason I run crits at all is the opportunity to outright knock out an opponent when they're on 4 damage. If they haven't seen any crit triggers yet, they might take it, and a crit might be able to finish them off. Or vice versa, if they see our crit triggers, then they'll be guarding on 4 damage when they really don't need to. And the reason I run the 2 different ones is if they see one of each, they might assume that I'm running 5 or 6 crit triggers and guard according to that. Next, we've got our stand triggers. We run 6. So I've got 4 Sky High Walker. His ability's not too important in this deck, but he has an ability, so we include 4 of him. And 2 Hoot Magician, just because I think the other one's Cracker Magician or Cracker Musician, and his artwork's just terrible. Then we got 3 draw triggers, which are our Rainbow Magicians. With this guy, his ability's too good to actually run different draw triggers. His ability's really good. When you boost with him, you get the Soul Charge one and then throw him back in the deck. Especially with Sarah being our main grade 3, you can quite easily throw a Rainbow Magician behind. And then she's attacking for 17 because she gets the 3k boost when she's boosted by a Pale Moon. Rainbow Magician's ability goes off. It's just, it's worth running. Next, our grade 1s. We run 2 Dark Metal Bicorns, which are the 8k beta. Just trying to focus again. Okay. So 2 Dark Metal Bicorn, because the deck's grade 2s and grade 3s don't have much attack power, so the Bicorn's trying to make up for that. We run 4 Hades Hypnotist, which is the perfect card. That's because this deck doesn't really get hand advantage or card advantage, so being able to use perfect cards is kind of important. 2 Midnight Bunnies, which are mostly to get stuff back out of the soul that you've put in there. Things like if an Alice has gone in the soul or something. 2 Purple Trapezists, which are just really good. Their ability is just too good to not run. I only run in 2 though because it's not pivotal to the deck. 1 Starting Presenter, sorry, because it's only good if it's a grade 1 ride, so it's just in there as a one of. And 4 Turquoise Beast Tamers, which are our 9k boost as long as we've got Crimson Beast Tamer in the soul, just to get a bit of attack power into a deck that really doesn't have it. Okay, our grade 2s, we have 1 Barking Cerberus. The reason we only run 1 is mainly because the deck doesn't really have a lot of attack power. And so Barking Cerberus gives us that, but we tend to be running grade 3s in our front rear guard slot, so we don't really need that many grade 2s. So he's just there as an option, really. 3 Crimson Beast Tamers. I might even take out a Barking Cerberus for another Crimson, because Crimsons are really good. You just need to get one in the soul, and then a few of your dudes hit for a bit more. The Crimsons themselves hit for 11 when you've got a Crimson in the soul. Like I said, I tend to have grade 3s in the front rear guard because of Sarah's ability, so it's not important to have the full playset of 4 because quite often I'm just going to need to throw one in the soul and maybe have one in a rear guard slot. So a lot of our grade 2s are just kind of, I suppose, more tech. So we run 3 Dancing Princess in the Night Sky. Her ability, when she hits the rear guard or vanguard circle, you get to counterblast 1, get a grade 2 or lower Pale Moon from your deck and put it in your soul. So that's probably the easiest way to get Crimson Beast Tamer in the soul. It's an easy way to get Peekaboo in the soul, which I'll talk about later. Also Purple Trapezist as well, because Purple Trapezist has a few fun little combos in the deck. Okay, run 2 Nitro Jugglers for a bit of soul charging. They're 9k, so they're not too bad. Quite often you'll drop them, get an attack in, then inset with them just to get rid of them. But the soul charge is pretty good. And 1 copy of Peekaboo. I used to run him in 2s. Most Pale Moon builds don't run him at all. I just run him as a bit of tech because in the late game, you and your opponent tend to just take out each other's front rear guards so that you get less attacks. Peekaboo kind of solves that problem. Plus, with his ability, you Soul Blast 1 at the start of your main phase and pull him out of the soul. So you can do that and then drop a Purple Trapezist, throw him back in the soul, pull something else good out. You know, he's interesting. Alright, now we're grade 3s. 1 Barking Manticore, which we don't even need to run, it's just this is what got me into Vanguard, so I'm still going to run the one of him. Unless I get another Alice, then I might replace him with an Alice or a Sarah. But, you know, he's pretty good. He's a good backup Vanguard as well, I suppose. If you can get Crimson Beast Hammer in the soul, he attacks for 13. And his ability, when you ride him, you draw a card and put a card from hand into your soul with the amount of grade 3s we run, because we run 8 grade 3s. It's not uncommon to have excess grade 3s in hand, so you can ditch one to the soul and get something, you know, that can actually guard or whatever with Manticore's ability. 2 Mistress Hurricane, which also aren't really important. I just don't really like Midnight Invader, which is what a lot of decks run as their grade 3s. I like Mistress Hurricane because she's a great backup grade 3. When you ride her, you can Counterblast 2 to pull any Pale Moon and his soul to your rear guard. And if the number of Pale Moon in your soul is 8 or more, she's an 11k Vanguard. So that's, I've never actually used that yet, but, you know, it's option. Alright, 2 Nightmare Doll Alice, who is one of the big players of the deck. Her ability, when she hits, you know, a Vanguard or a rear guard of your opponents, you can counterblast 1, throw her in the soul to pull another unit out of the soul, which is really good for getting extra attacks in. Really dangerous with Sword Magician Sarah, and if you put a Purple Trapezist in the soul, it's even better. So what you can do is attack with your other rear guard first. Oh no, you don't really need to. The booster say the booster behind Alice is just like a Bicorn or something. You attack with her, the attack hits, you counterblast, throw her in the soul, pull out Purple Trapezist over the Bicorn that'll be behind Alice. So the Bicorn retires. Alice's ability, Purple Trapezist ability activates. You can throw any of your other rear guards into your soul to pull Alice back out and get another attack with her. So there's a lot of cool things that Alice can do, especially with our main Vanguard, Sword Magician Sarah. So, okay, last thing in the deck is the 3 copies of Sword Magician Sarah. So like I said, the ability is when the drive check reveals a grade 3, you get to pick one of your grade 3 rear guards, throw it in the soul, and pull a grade 3 out. That can even be the one you send in. So, obviously Alice is a big player in this deck because of that. Because you attack with Alice, they're probably going to want to guard so you don't get an extra attack in. And if they don't, you use her ability. And if you can do the Trapezist combo, it's even better. Then you attack with Sarah. Let's say Alice is still out for whatever reason. You attack with Sarah, draft check grade 3. Alice stands back up, you attack again. Maybe your opponent has lost all their guards, so they can't actually guard against it this time. Then you can counterblast 1, throw in the soul, pull something else out, and get an extra attack. That's also the reason we run so many stand triggers. It's just, this deck is great at just sniping rear guards, because you get so many extra attacks, but you won't have boost for them, so quite often you'll just be taking out your opponent's front rear guards like every turn, as well as doing a lot of attacks on their Vanguard, making them use a lot of guards. So yeah, that's the deck. Not much more really to say about it. I'll be uploading this video over the weekend, and I'll probably also try and record the other two videos of my Yu-Gi-Oh deck and my Pokemon deck, and upload them as well, so we've got a bit of variety for the Deakin Deck Regiment YouTube page. So thanks for watching, YouTubers and fellow members of the Deakin Deck Regiment. This has been Mr. Fishy with my Sword Magician Sarah Cardfight Vanguard deck tech. Subscribe, comment, let us know what you think. Bye-zy, bye-zy.